New Jersey. My name is Abigail Isaac, and we are just going to talk about Father's Special Day because it's about to be Father's Day this Sunday. I mean, we should be excited, right? We celebrate mothers a lot of times. We have a lot of days to celebrate our mothers, but this very day is a day to celebrate fathers in our lives, the men that have stood so strongly behind us. And I feel like it is so important. And I have two very powerful, strong, and, you know, very influential fathers in the house with me this morning. I mean, I feel so humbled to be seated here with you both. First of all, I'll introduce my father here in the Lord. He's a very powerful man of God. He's the lead pastor of Holy Ghost Christian Center, New Jersey. He's a man who is a visionary, who is such a selfless man that impacts so much in people. I mean, I cannot introduce you enough, sir. Please make some noise for Pastor Joseph Siju.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
You're
welcoming. Thank
truly
you.
a father to all, sir.
Thank you for this
you
opportunity.
so
Thank
much.
you. And I want to thank you for this moment.
Thank you so much, sir. And I would also like to introduce a very, very creative, well experienced man who is, I believe, wears so many hats. Amongst them, he's also a pastor. He's been in ministry for about 30 years, and I'm sure he has, built a flock of people under his ministry that have been blessed by all he does. Please put your hands together for Pastor Ainsley.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
You're so
Thanks for
welcome,
having me.
sir.
Welcome.
So, I mean, Father's Day is coming this Sunday. Let me start with a very personal question. What has being a father been like for you? What would you say is one thing that you can look back and say, I'm so proud that I am a father because of this?
Wow. Wow. Now that is a very interesting question
Yes.
because of my story. Because my father died when I was 4, so I
Wow.
don't know him.
Wow.
And the amazing thing in my life is that I always felt so inadequate and ill equipped because of that. But ultimately, I think because of that, it also helped me because I look back over my life and recognize and realize that the only father I have ever had is God Almighty. And in the most real sense, I've often said in speaking that a lot of times when people call God Father, they're not saying the same thing that I am saying. Because when I say that, I really mean that he has been a father to me in the sense that you are a father to your kids.
Wow.
I've had to run to him for everything. And so when I became a father, I cried out to him and I said, I want to be like you. I really want to be like you. All that you are to me, help me to be that to my son. Because I want him to be like me and I want him to reflect you. And so I was like desperate and dependent. And I think that helped shape much of who I am as a father.
Wow, wow, that's so powerful. You know what I hear from that? A lot of us as humans, we that, had the privilege to know our fathers, we see them as the example. We pick up the characters and everything that they did, and we apply that to our home. But for you, you had God as an example. You went straight to the real source, and you got the juice and the information on how to be a real good father. I mean, that was so powerful. So, Pastor Joseph, I would like to ask you, remembering if you want to take your mind back to when you first become a father, I mean a biological father to your children, what was some of the shockers for you? Like, okay, I didn't expect this that you had. The shocking moments for you.
The shocking moment for me is the responsibility I need to take to be a role model to them. Few things that I know that I'm doing that is not all right. Even though I'm a pastor then, there are few things I need to stop doing. Because if you can look at your kids today, no matter how small they are, they learn from you. You have to learn how to stop nagging. You have to learn how to start speaking truth. You have to learn how to be strong, even when you are weak sometimes, so that they can be strong. Because if they can pick from your weakness and they find that you are not strong enough, and that affect their mind and their spirit. So as a father, one of the things that stood out for me that really affected me when we have the twins, we have the Bora Force, but the boys, from my mind, it's dawned on me that I have to be responsible. I know how my parents guide us. From my mother's side, we are 5. I have 3 boys after me. I know how my father is very strict. And because we are missionary, so you have to be a good example. You can't do this stuff. You can't do this stuff. So when I have my boys, I want them to live normal life. I don't want the church to just control who they are. But at the same time, I want to be a role model to them. And you will see me a little bit strict. You have to be very careful. Remember the son of who you are. This is what, and I create time. No matter how busy I am, there is vacation. We're going out. I'm very strict. I'm stricter than my wife, but I still go out with them. They will prefer going out with me because I will still have to go out with them, talk to them, see what they want to do. As a father, I think we have to create time to be there for our children. And I will say, not for my children alone. Fatherhood is not about who gave birth to you. Fatherhood is about being a role model to your environment, to your community, to people that look up to you. Are we getting it? And I think the man of God said something very powerful, that he grew up and not knowing his father. And there are many young men that are growing up now that doesn't even know who their father was. So the father figure is there, but the responsibility as a father is not there. It's like you're not there. Because there are things they're looking for. And there's a comparison within children. And they want to see this guy's parents takes them out to talk to them. My father don't talk to me. You can't even speak to him. You can't even get his attention. When he's coming home, you're afraid. You can't. So sometimes the shocker part of me that changed the way I see things. I have to be more responsible.
Yes.
I have to be a role model.
Yes.
And I have to be in the gap for them. I have to defend them. Powerful thing, which God is doing for us as Father, to defend us.
Thank you so much, sir, for the way you've answered that question. If you don't know, this coming Sunday, the 16th, is actually Father's Day, and we are not going to wait till then. We are going to start celebrating our fathers immediately. So Pastor just talked about, taking responsibility and, creating that model for your children to follow. Can you try to help us understand or educate us more on, some of the responsibilities of a father, what a father should be doing? Because, some young men might just think a father's role is just to go to work and provide the money, right? Then, so I think people need to still know what is the role, what is the responsibility of the father in the home.
Again, great question. But let me address one quick thing first. When you introduced me, though I pastored for several years, right now I am actually working with my brother-in-law in ministry at the Bible Way Apostolic Missions in Burlington, New Jersey. So that's where we're working. Pastor Albert Thompson is who I'm working with right now. Right. So I just wanted to get that on board. And to the question about what it means to embody that role as a father, jumping again on what Pastor said, you've got to be just more than just to your family, to your kids. And why that is it so critical right now? Because of the deficiency. Now, look at the system that they're growing up in. From kindergarten to 12th grade, for some of these youngsters, the only authority they see in their life are female. All of the teachers, grade school, are now female. The principal is female, all the way across. So, where is the role model? Where do they get any kind of identity from? If all the authority figures I'm seeing are female and I want to be big, I might want to think that I want to be female too. And then you have another crisis coming on your hands.
Yes.
So you have that factor. So when you say that we have to really step up, especially in the church, some of them, listen, if you're a father and you think that your responsibility is just to provide food, clothes, and shelter, here's the problem. prison provides as much. The institutions provide as
As
much.
much.
They do.
So it cannot be just that. They don't need you for that. They need you for guidance, for encouragement. So many youngsters will tell you when they get to certain level in life, the role their coaches played
Play
in their lives, because a man stepped into the picture and told them, you are great, you are. And you see, fathers understand something, that God models everything for us that we need to embody. Even when Christ, the Son of God, walked on the earth, to make sure that we don't miss it, God broke protocol and spoke from the heavens to say, this is my son, and I am well pleased. When was the
Yes.
last time you publicly declared over your child that you love him and you are well pleased? You have the role model in God. You can't miss it. He broke protocol because it's important. We need to affirm them, encourage them, motivate them. Like Jesus said to his disciples, you're going to do greater things than even I have done. Just think, where are we? What are we speaking into our
children.
kids? If they, when they look up to you, and they love and respect you, your words have more power than you can ever imagine. I heard a testimony of a singer who said that his life ended in his garage when his father called him a useless piece of mess.
Whoa.
His life ended
Wow.
until somebody had to pick him up later on and restore him. That's the power of a father's influence. So fathers, and as we approach Father's Day, please do not minimize the importance you play. The society is screaming for you to stand up and impact like we need to in this culture.
Pray.
Wow, wow. I like the way you said that. Like, oh my God. I was just about to say preach. Okay, like, Pastor Joseph, what are some of the activities? Because I like to break it down to this most simple, the most simple things that people can relate to, right? We're talking about, he just spoke about the father being present. You're not just there to provide food, clothes, and shelter. Speaking into the life of your children, being conscious of what you say to them, because your word carry power, and what you say over them becomes their reality. They're looking up to you. What you think about them, your perspective is what really influences how they go to the world and how they view themselves. I mean, their whole identity depends so much on what you put into them. It's just like planting a flower, right?
Absolutely.
You know, if you don't nurture the flower properly, if you don't give it the nutrients that it needs, it will die. So what are the specific activities, things that you do, you know, maybe systems, traditions that you have put in place in your family to make sure that you are present in the life of your children, to make sure that you are aware of what they are doing. You're not missing basketball games. You are not hearing, you know, all of a sudden that your son did this or that. You're very present. Even, you know, even though you have other businesses and other things you're doing, you know, with work, with life, but finding that balance and also being present. What are those things, those activities, those systems you've put in place, please?
Few things I put in place, like what the man of God just said. It's about be intimate with them in what they're doing. Intimate means speak life to them. Let them see the value they carry in the activity in school. Let them see your presence there. Tell them they can do it. Even when you know that they are weak, tell them they can do it. They have the capacity to get it done. Even though sometimes you find them fall and it looks as if they are not making it, tell them they are not a failure. Are you getting it? Tell them they can still try again. They don't need to depend on all that. They must believe in who God have created them to do. It's a serious activity for you to let them know who they are. They must have great knowledge about who they are. They are created in God's image. And I said something the other time. Take time to go out with them. Take time to sit with them. Take time to hear them out. Let them be open to you. And if you have a child as a man and he can rely on you, he can ask you questions, he can talk to you, you need to rely on other people to get affirmation of what he's doing or she's doing, if you have a daughter the same way, there's a big problem. You must be present. They must be able to trust you enough to tell you, Dad, something is wrong with me. They must be able to. So the one activity that is so important is for you to guide them on what to do, on basketball, on how to save. Tell them about money. Tell them about value. Tell them about characters. They want to see you. They want to see you acting it and see that this is how that it does it. This is what is right. This is not what is that right. And if you're married, they watch how you relate with your wife. They learn a lot from it. They see how you respect women. They see how you speak to them. They see how you honor them. That is what you do for them. It's not just buying things, going to work, but you don't have time. Time is of essence. And there will be a time that your value will not be recognized anymore. If you miss those little stages of their life that they need you in their life, if they're able to build out and find out how to navigate their system by themselves, that means they won't need you. So while you are in their life, be there. Don't get yourself occupied with things around you and neglect them. I'm talking about this. It's happening in the government. That government doesn't even have time. Where all this about me, about me. Once you become a father, and I'm not talking about father being giving birth now. You might not have a child of your own, but you can still be a father to those that are looking up to you. Maybe where you're working in church, in community. So the first activity is for you to be able to let them see value in their life. So because whatever activity we're doing is to let them know that I'm here for you. I'm here to fight for you.
Yes.
I'm here to defend you.
Yes.
I'm here to move you forward. That present activity is very much important to go to their mind. Their mind is open. But you can help them to see that the first thing is for me to know that I am a king. I carry kings in me. It doesn't matter what is going on around me, I can make it.
Yes.
And people might beat them down, but don't let them get home and you beat them down. You must be there when they are down. You have to be there.
them up.
And when they are rising, you have to be there when they need support. Those are on vacation, you're busy with work also. But you have to create time for them. Time for them. Create time.
I just remember the video I saw yesterday on Instagram. The speaker was saying that don't give too much significance to solving problems, that you forget and not neglect, giving love to the people that really matter, because people will go, people will die. Your family, loved ones might not be there all the time. There will always be problems. I mean, that's what life is about. But you don't want to get to a point in your life where you say, oh, what if, what if, I wish I could have done this better. For fathers also, I think that's what Pastor Joseph just trying to say. Be present and be intentional about it. For everyone joining us live right now, before we go on into more conversations, I must let you know we will really be talking more about relationships, marriage, being single, going through divorce. That will be part of our conversation for today. But we would like to connect with you and know where you're joining us from. So let us know in the chats, in the comments. We want to reach out to you, tell us where you're joining us from. And if you have any questions, you have any contributions to this conversation, why not? We will be very happy to have your contributions and your questions answered. So I want us to quickly just talk about family patterns and what the role of the father is. We look at the life of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There was a pattern that was followed, Yes, we talk a lot about how Abraham was, Abraham is the father of many nations, but we know those patterns that was like weakness for Abraham, like his lying, and the fact that also in the family, when you get married, you don't have children on time. But for Jacob got to that point where in his life, he was like, okay, something has to change. Something different must happen for me. And he took the bull by the horn and he said, okay, he wrestled with the angel of God and the Lord visited him. He had an encounter with God and there was a change in his name, in his destiny. And because of him, so many, nations are remembered because of him, Israel. So what is the role of the father to identify patterns in the family and also not make those patterns to be repeated in their families?
Wow. There you go again. Now, here it is. You identified Jacob. He came from this line of dysfunctions, as it were, and one encounter with God, and God declared, "You are now my firstborn." That's what He said over Jacob. Jacob's legacy and everything changed because then he started ordering his family based on what he felt God desired. As men, if we were made in the image of God, likewise, we need to, like you said, be intentional about building a legacy. Okay, you come from a family, your wife come from another family. And when you come together, you form something that never existed before, brand new. And you must now determine what that entity is going to look like. My wife is here, and I'll tell you, when we started out, clueless would be a good word to describe us. And but like I said, when I cried out to God and God began to direct, I'm saying, God, I'm going to play by your script 100%. So there are certain things that we did, just like you said. We, first of all, before kids came along, we would just come home, chill in front of the TV, watch TV, eat, and hang out. And we had a wonderful time. Kids come along, I think 2 years old. I told her, never again. Every single evening, the table must be set, and we sit as a family. Every evening, not 2 days a week, 3 days a week. Every evening, we sit as a family around the dining table. When they were young and we were running around, she sings professionally. She was booked here, booked there. Every weekend we're gone someplace else. And I had to stop, just like you said. I had to stop at one point and say, wait a second, we're dragging these kids all over the place and they have no say in it. And I sat them down and I said, okay, kids, one Saturday, one weekend a month, you tell us what we're doing. You get to call the play. I needed to, like you said, be intentional, be valued. So we build a legacy. Another thing we did is this Christmas cannot be celebrated any place else but home. They need to know what it is. We build a legacy. And there's certain things that we did, just like you said, you have to build your own legacy. Men, if you're listening, envision it, write it, draw it, build it, and then execute it because your kids need that.
Wow.
Powerful.
Okay. I wish we could go on and on and on, but we would be cutting short this session for now, and we will come back in a few minutes because we want your wife to come and join us so we could talk more and more about relationships and every other thing that has to do with relationships. But before we end the session for now, I just wanted to ask Pastor Siju, how does your relationship with God as a father affect the covering over your family? Because a lot of times some men may think, oh, let my wife do the praying, let the woman do the covering. But how important is it for a man to take the stand and the lead in the things that are that has to do with the spiritual systems governing of your family?
Yeah, because God sees men as the leader. Women also can be a leader, but because your wife automatically look up to you as the head of his life and as the head of the home, you are the pastor of your home. And disconnecting yourself from your home is like pushing your responsibility to the women. And that is what is going on today. And that is why we have so much problem at home today. When a man is pushing their responsibility, you're supposed to be the height of the family. When you refuse to do it and the women take it up, unknowingly to you, you let down your role. And when the woman take it up, you will be frustrated. It's just a matter of time. Because when a woman take over stuff, they do it very well. They put all their hearts to it. So as a man, I would say, be the lead of your home. Not just in providing, but also a spiritual lead. That means you need to create relationship with God. So when God was creating man, he placed him in a garden, till this ground. The first thing, till this ground. And if you read Genesis very well, God will intentionally come down every evening to have relationship. So you can become anything without relationship with God. He said in John chapter 15 verse, without me you can do nothing. So you as a man, not having time to build your relationship with God, not having time to connect your spirit with God, you will soon dry. It's like a river disconnected from its source. It's just a matter of time. You will soon dry. And you find that is going on, and you find women praying more. You find them being able to see more. And you are complaining, you're just praying. Nothing is working. She's praying more. She's connecting more. You're getting dry. And anytime you're not connected to God, you will be depending on other people to live. That's why you see most men are depending on things. That they're depending on friend, depending on drug, depending on club, depending on other people to live. But I want to say this to men. You can't separate yourself from your maker. You didn't create yourself. Somebody created you. Genesis 2:7. It is his spirit that gives you life. And in John chapter 1, verse 4 and 5, he said, this life is the light of the man. And it's the light that gave you life. When you separate yourself from it, you will be dry. And you walk in darkness. I will say this. Men, take your relationship with God serious so that you can lead your home. You can be there for your family because you need guidance.
Yes.
You need the Spirit of the Lord. So if you're not careful, everything will just look empty and void. You know, Genesis 1 verse 2 said, even though God created heaven and earth, and it's found that the earth was empty and void, and the darkness covered the surface. Many times we focus on the surface, but look at it, the real thing is in the deep. Many times we focus on the surface. So for men, focus on the deep. But you can't focus on the deep, on the Spirit. Bible says, and the Spirit of the Lord wove. So we need the Spirit of the Lord for men to be able to lead their own. Please, help me to encourage men.
Men,
look for God.
Men, look for God. Be encouraged. You've heard it from Pastor Joseph Siju and Mr. Ainsley. I mean, such powerful moment right now.
Thank you so
I want
much.
to encourage you. We have a very special service for the fathers on Sunday, this coming Sunday at Holy Ghost Christian Center. If you are in Union, New Jersey, that is the place you want to be. The address is 1323 Burnett Avenue, Union. My name is Abigail Isaac. My producers are telling me we need to go for a short break right now. Don't go anywhere. Just stay at your seat because we're going to come back and we will talk all about relationship for the married, for the single, those that are searching for love. It is all going to be about relationship, okay? I'll see you in a few minutes, okay?
God bless you.
God bless you.